So just a reminder that you will put one of these together for Tesla in your group, and you will put one together for your own company, and that's true for the TOES matrix as well. When you write up your recommendation, you want to make sure to answer these four things. Clearly describe what you are recommending. Maybe the phrase "tell us" what you're talking about helps. Two, help us understand why this is your recommendation. Sell us on it. So you've come up with multiple possibilities, all hopefully good ideas, but you've pitching what you think is the best of your ideas. And so sell us on why that's the better idea. That doesn't mean you can't be honest and tell us what some of the challenges of that idea versus others are. Outline how to make it a reality that enables us to take action. So, what are some of the first steps? How much money are we going to need? What's the timeline? What order do the tasks fit into that timeline? That's that Gantt chart. What resources do we have to allocate to make this happen? And what will we be measuring then to define success? So, I want you to make sure that those are numbers driven or they can actually be measured. It's helpful to show the stakeholder map so we can see how we're impacting relationships. It's important to have those project management standards, broad budget, timeline, and resources that are above finances needed. And then the outcomes that we really want, those specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-framed goals, such as return on investment, satisfaction, market share. But those are numbers that we can measure. And if you say market share, you need to give me a percentage of the market that you're trying to capture, whether that's a increase from or a current market share, or whether that's capturing market share within a completely new product or service line. So the stakeholder analysis we've looked at before, and you've built one. It may be that you have to define the context of this. So if I was talking about Netflix moving from streaming others' content to being a major content creator themselves, I could look through and say, okay, well, this is going to have impact on suppliers and writers, for example. So writers are suddenly much more important. Anybody kind of involved in the creation process is probably more highly supportive because we're offering jobs and highly cooperative. But they also have the potential, depending on how well they do, whether there's writers' strikes, which was talked about during the time I was studying the case, and whether there's even the ability to produce during a pandemic. Uh, there's a potential for them to threaten. And we begin to marginalize the role of suppliers of content because, yes, we'd like good content, but we're less dependent on it when we're creating our own. And so those 3 and 12 that are in orange there, you can see those are highlighted because there are a couple that have changed because the strategy has changed. So I'm making a recommendation and then I'm showing the impact here on a couple of key relationships or stakeholders. I'm going to share a couple of optional tools just so we're clear. Excellence for me means going above and beyond, not meaning doing just what's asked of you. That's a misconception that our education system often teaches, and in work that doesn't cut it. If you only do what I ask, you're a good employee, but you're not a great employee. So you can consider using Blue Ocean strategy tools or future scenario planning or both. And I'm going to show those to you again. We have looked at Blue Ocean strategy before, so you may remember that in the middle you have kind of this combining. When you mix blue and red together, you get purple, and so that might be more attainable or realistic than the Blue Ocean strategy. And then there's a couple of tools so you could map it out and what it looks like in a framework like this. This is a mind map because I'm big on mind maps, thinking about the advantages of blue ocean over red ocean. You could use this canvas where we ask what things relative to others, and so you can map out the industry as it might currently exist. Here, the example is circuses as they used to exist, and ask what might we eliminate, what might we reduce, what might we do more of or raise, and what might we do completely new or unique, create. And those are listed down below, attributes of the industry, things that we could potentially eliminate, could potentially reduce, could potentially raise, and could potentially create or add. And then this map, this is particularly done for Cirque du Soleil and the shows that they put on and how those are different but play into the broader industry of circuses. So you may use a tool like that. And then the last one when it comes to blue ocean strategy is this buyer utility map, which understands that lays out kind of the full buyer experience. I purchase it, I get it, I use it, maybe I buy add-ons, I have to maintain it, and finally I get rid of it. And all that process has to be thought through. And then looking at some levers that impact whether or not I'm satisfied along each of these 6 pieces of the buyer experience cycle. So does it make me more productive? Is it simple to use? Is it convenient for me? Was there risk involved? Was it fun? And is there an environmental recognition and friendliness to the process? And this takes place both in kind of the purchase, which I'm thinking about how was it made, uh, what does it cost me to use, but also at end of life disposal. So those are 3 tools for the business model canvas.